Everyone, Christian's back in Sarasota. Made the trip last night. Left at around 11:15 from Greenville, South Carolina. Did a straight shot, some back roads, but got home finally after dropping my sister's dogs off at 1:45, 2 o'clock in the morning. Went to down to Venice and up to Sarasota. But anyway, I'm back and slept pretty much until a few hours ago, and wanted to give you guys a little bit of a vlog about, I wanted to do it on hurricane and wind damage. And I had a question from a viewer about what they should do about new spears that were kind of blown apart and were kind of blown over by the hurricane. Now, a lot of palms, these palms here are all queen palms, and queens don't naturally experience high wind, and where they're from, they are more of they grow up in the rocky areas of Brazil where they don't experience any strong storms. But this will apply to anyone that is doing that is planting palms in areas that experience strong winds, whether it's thunderstorms, Santa Ana winds, hurricanes, whatever. So we can see here that you can see where the middle is. The leaf there is kind of non-existent. There's no spear. It's kind of been blown apart. It's kind of blown to the side. So what's happened here is the existing spear, the newest spear, nearest the meristem, which is the growing point, right where all those leaves kind of come together, the fronds come together. And so when that gets blown apart prematurely, it's going to emit a lighter colored leaf. And sometimes that leaf can actually get a fungus, or bugs can actually smell from up to a half mile away and can try to attack it. Now, the best thing to do is to do a little preemptive, not preemptive, after the storm, whatever it may be, after the winds, do a preemptive little treatment of hydrogen peroxide if you're worried about the spear getting blown out, or spear rotting from getting blown out. The worst thing that can happen is in a palm is that the bud starts to rot from whatever reason, whether it be bugs being dried out or just water inundation in a necrotic tissue area near the meristem. That is the weakest point of the palm. It's where it grows. If that gets attacked, then the palm will start going downhill. So here, this is a little bit taller, and this is a little bit shorter. This queen got a little bit pulled over a little bit, and they're not very wind hardy. They do go down in about 80-mile-an-hour winds, maybe 80 to 100. I think we got up to about 80 around here. I wasn't here for the event, so but you can see it here. You can even see up here. If I zoom in a little bit and see if I can do it on the phone here. See how the newest part there is kind of all floppy there in the middle? Now, these are going to be okay. These wouldn't require treatment, but if you see a lighter color, like a light green, yellow, or if you see a brown, would be the worst. And that is going to be where you're going to start to need it. If you see brown, you're going to want to go up there and see what's going on, because that could be the bud or the spear starting to rot. And the next step is going to be either fungus or insect inundation. So it's important that you check the spears of your palms after a wind event, wind, rain, storm, that sort of thing. And this applies to mostly, for example, there are royals across the street I was going to do a vlog on, but the royals across the street don't really have any issues. They really didn't get that blown. What royals and other palms that are from hurricane-prone areas do is they actually will their leaves will actually rip off prematurely to prevent this from happening. They actually have it in their blood in their genetics to defoliate so that they have no wind resistance. But these don't do that because they naturally just don't experience it where they're from. So if they're not from a hurricane-prone area, they're going to experience more wind damage, which is just kind of makes sense. They never really experienced it genetically where they're from, so they're not going to bring you're not going to bring anything special with them. So wish there was a palmetto nearby. Give you an example. I mean, here's a little. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit on this guy. So right here, you can see these are kind of all blown out, and there's not really any spear to speak of. There's a little. That's actually a peduncular bract. That's not a spear. You can see that's coming out of that one. So some haven't experienced any of it, and some of these are relatively new, so that's why they kind of blew over. If there wasn't a spear emerging, it probably is. That's the best situation when a leaf has just come out and opened. Then that leaf has pretty much has been fully exposed to the elements already. So it doesn't really require you know, it's already hardened off, so to speak. The ones that are not hardened off, the spears, the just opening leaflets that get opened by the winds, those are the ones that really have the problems. And obviously, newly staked palms. This one probably was staked about a year ago, so its roots aren't too thoroughly in the ground there. So that's going to be one that this one has no issues with spear. I call it spear blowout, but yeah, this one will grow just like as it is, and I'm probably just going to leave it this way because it's not really a hazard. So if you see these around, you can kind of tell, you can kind of guess that, you know, the wind's got up to at least 60 miles an hour, especially because this one, it wasn't fully rooted in. I'm imagining that some of these are not. They added some new ones lately, but you know, this can cause what looks like frizzle top, but it's not actually frizzle top. So I want to show you guys that. It's kind of I get a unique chance to show you guys a little post-hurricane damage and why it happened and what palms it happens to and which ones it does not. So there's what I call spear blowout syndrome. Although it's not really a syndrome, it just happens. It's, you know, we understand why it happens. So anyway, hope that was helpful to some of you guys, some of y'all here in Florida and elsewhere, maybe anywhere that gets windy. Go ahead and leave a comment down below if you have any other questions about hurricane damage or wind damage. And subscribe if you're new, and I'll be putting out many more videos, especially now that I'm back in Florida. And I will see you guys next time.